We're going to start by taking the arms out and up, interlacing the fingers and bring them back down through the centre. You can take as many of these as you like. And then about halfway down, press the palms out, still interlaced, and straightening through the spine a few times. Come into a side stretch so you can find your way in however you'd like. Taking your time here, and then coming out in one big swoop, and then you'll take that on the other side. Taking the arms back up over the head and coming into a twist. Dropping one hand down to the opposite knee and taking the gaze. Bring the head back round first and then find that on the other side. Coming back to the centre. Coming on to all fours, take some hip circles, so find your way around figures of 8, circles, whatever you like. Side to side, back and forward. And then from here we'll take some wrist mobilising exercises, so you can take one hand at a time is probably safer, but you do you. Rolling the body over the wrist, noticing any points of tension. This is an area we don't really spend a lot of time with because of sitting at a desk all day, most of us. Take your time here. Taking a moment, finding some thread the needles either side. And then tucking the toes. Maybe you'd like to play around with a little vinyasa. So maybe finding your way into your downward facing dog. And wriggling the toes back, coming through the plank and down to the floor. Pressing up through the palms or the fists. And you can also play around with turning the fingers in so that you find more space through the chest, but only do this if this feels right for you. You could also, of course, come into a sphinx with your forearms on the ground, and then back into your downward facing dog. From here, take the leg out in front of you. The other leg can sit at 90 degrees or thereabouts, with the foot pressed against the calf or the thigh. And then you might like to find a forward fold here. This doesn't have to be too long. Only take your fingers to the toes if it feels comfortable and your back feels long. And then you can stretch out both legs and take it on the other side. So noticing if you're folding forwards from the pelvis, if everything feels supported. Let the hands drop wherever feels natural. And breathe in and out. And then crossing the legs to come back. You might like to take some hip circles here, seated, rolling forwards, side to side. And reversing. From the seated position, interlace the fingers and find some movement in the wrists. Of course, you can have both palms together if it's more comfortable. Coming into Badakanasana, taking the legs wide, flexing the feet. And just as you did before, folding forwards from the pelvis and noticing whether it feels comfortable. might now like to find an open twist, taking one palm down, opening out through the other palm, so palms meet, upper arm goes up to the sky, take the gaze with you as far as feels good. And then you might like to spider walk the fingers or swoop out round to the front. Transitioning into Badakanasana now, bringing the soles of the feet to meet and noticing where the knees naturally sit. Think about a long spine here and take a few breaths. Coming onto all fours, we'll return to some of those cat-cows we did earlier. It's just rounding through the spine. You may not have a great deal of flexion in your upper back. That's perfectly normal, absolutely fine. And then from there, after you've taken your time, repeating some hip movements, back and forward, side to side. To close, take a few movements that feel right for you, so that might be sitting back onto the heels, coming up onto the shins, it might be walking the hands and feet out and in, coming up, taking the arms up into the air, or anything that feels good for you right now. Resting back, sitting on your heels, or any other posture. And close.